That's the name. So The Forest was a movie that came out 3 or 4 years ago, and it was about this ancient forest in Japan where people go.
Oh, the Suicide Forest.
Yeah, the Suicide Forest. So if the lady from who's the main character who's like investigating this,
Yeah.
she's like looking for her brother or something. But if everybody else was the Muppets, you know, and like they just walk into a forest and there's like Muppets hanging from. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
so
that's fucking morbid. Oh.
So, but the other one I thought of was the original Exorcist.
Yeah.
So the girl is she's still possessed and like throwing up on shit, but everybody else who's trying to like save her is the Muppets.
I
Right?
could see that. Or maybe the priest is still the priest, but everybody else is the Muppets, including Linda Blair on the bed is played by Animal. You know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like
I could just imagine Animal on the bed, like, fuck your mother, fuck your mother.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Or in the same horror vein, how about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And like Beaker has to play Leatherface. Could you imagine? Rung rung me 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 me.
Yes. Yes, I could.
Oh yeah, I could take that. Oh,
What about like Weekend at Bernie's? Bernie is still Bernie.
Yeah.
And there's just a bunch of Muppets.
That'd be the best. I'm trying to think of.
Ooh. Oh man, now I don't know, man. Now they're. At first, I was like, whenever people do something like this, I think my and this girl that I was talking to would agree, but like my brain, especially for comedians, is just like far too literal most of the time.
Yeah.
And so, like exercises like this, I really have a hard time with. But then, if I can relax for just a second and kind of think outside the box, then sometimes they flow. Anyways, the movie My Girl.
Okay, all right. You've already got my attention.
Veda would still be the one, but like, can you imagine her overprotective father being, I don't know, one of the Muppets, and then what's the kid's name that dies?
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, you know, is one. I don't know, just the thought of
Macaulay Culkin is played by Skeeter.
Sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I don't know the Muppets too well to
I know.
I missed out on that part of my childhood, so.
Yeah, I missed some of them. I think for me, what makes me makes me think about it more is like trying to think of movies where individual Muppets would excel in certain roles.
Yeah, and see that's where I'm not gonna excel because I just don't know. I don't know any of them. I don't think.
Well, let's go through my Muppet knowledge real quick. You got Kermit, Miss Piggy. You got Gonzo, which I always thought was
Gonzo, yeah.
Which I always thought was
Dick Nose.
which is always funny because that son of a bitch almost curved back into his mouth. So, I mean, it's just ironic, I guess. So you got Gonzo, which was always weird because Gonzo, if we're talking porn, has always been like the kinky stuff, the super kinky stuff. If you look up Gonzo porn, be
I will not.
Anything. Yeah. But then also Gonzo and the Muppets was into fucking chickens. So, I mean, you know, it kind of works out. Like, yeah, he had a kink, It was fucking chickens. So you got Miss Piggy, Kermit, Gonzo, Fozzie the Bear,
Fozzie,
which I think every comedian kind of gravitates towards, just because he was a struggling comedian.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Fozzie Bear. He was the one that always did the knock jokes and the stupid jokes that never panned out and go waka waka. That guy.
Oh yeah, that's me.
And then you had I believe his name was Sam the Bird, or Sam the Bald Eagle, who was always the very astute. Like you always got
like he would have been Ernie if he was this Sesame Street, like just a very serious.
Yeah. Right? You always got the feeling that he was kind of modeled after like a army general, just very and direct and to the point, and that kind of game. The one I always kind of gravitated towards, and he didn't come into like the Muppets universe until later, I guess, was Bobo the Bear. I always found Bobo the Bear was hilarious.
What did he look like?
Bobo the Bear was a big, chubby brown bear whose his eyebrows always went over his eyes, so he always looked kind of, I don't know, disgruntled or pissed off at what was going on.
I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, he played like when they do the Muppet films, he played in a couple as like the kind of just blind henchman to whatever actual movie star they got to play the villain. So the villain would be like, and we're going to do this, and we're going to burn this place to the ground. And Bobo would be like, oh, yeah, right, sir. Yeah, oh, sure, yeah, let's do that. So I always loved his lines because he sold everything he always sold everything very dryly. The villain would say like this really off the wall shit, and Bobo would just be like, oh yeah, burn it to the ground. Got it. Yep. All right. We'll do that. I'll get the matches, sir. Yeah. And I don't know. He always.
You sounded like Cheech or Chong or one of the two when you were doing that impression. Yeah, do it again.
Oh yeah. All right. Yep. Got it. Yep. Well, he was. I would have to say I gravitated towards him and Animal the most, because their impressions for me have always been the most fun. I thoroughly enjoyed when a couple years ago they had a clip for the rejuvenated Muppets show on ABC. And they had a clip where it was Dave Grohl and Animal playing drums with each other, and they were doing like a little back and forth. I was like, this is awesome.
Hell yeah.
And it was funny because Dave Grohl would be like, all right, try and keep up, little guy, and like he did a solo, and Animal goes, here we go, and then did his drum solo. We just missed an exit. We're gonna have to reverse.
Oh, you gonna reverse? Dude,
yeah.
My guy's crazy as fuck right now.
I keep it real in this bitch. It's 3 in the morning.
I guess, yeah, I would have never thought. I would have been like, well, we're too far now.
Right.
But you're just like, potential cars be damned because there are none.
Right.
Continue on.
We're alive, folks.
Hell yeah. It's hard to get hit when there's nobody to hit you. Hell, that got me through most of my fights with my sister growing up.
What's that?
I can't be hit if there's nobody to hit me. But yeah, so before I got us killed, they were doing the back and forth drum solo, and then they kept going until all the drums kind of fell away, and it was Dave Grohl sitting on his throne, and then Animal sitting on his throne, and they're breathing heavy and just and they look at each other and they go, "You win," and that's the end of it. I thought that was pretty neat.
Okay, so I've got a confession to make.
Go ahead.
You said Dave Grohl, who I know is the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, also was the drummer for Nirvana.
Yep.
For some reason, and it's probably because shit, because we were talking about Fozzie Bear, but for some reason in my mind, when you were talking about it, the only person I could think of was Dave Coulier. And I was like, and so I'm sitting over here listening to your story, and I'm like,
which makes complete sense, by the way.
And I was like, I have to I'm like trying to pretend like this all makes sense that Dave Coulier is playing drums with Animal, but I don't get it. I don't know why. I didn't know that he could drum. And
so at the end of the video, the only difference between the Dave Grohl and the Dave Coulier is the fact that the drums would fall away. Coulier and Animal would be breathing heavy, and then Animal would be like, "You win," and Dave Coulier goes, "Cut it out."
You son of a bitch.
That'd be the end of the video.
I don't know, man. I'm having a coughing fit right now, and I don't really have much more to say. I don't know about you, but
no, we can take a break if you want, and then well, if anything, we could have this be the end of episode 1, and then
I like that.
We'll record 7 more episodes before you get on the flight.
Hell yeah. I don't know how we're going to do that, but I'm ready.
Right. All right. Well, then, for now, we'll sign off on this episode. This has been Brandon.
And this is Jake.
Signing off.
That's it.